Hey guys, so today I'm going to be making number 4 Privet Drive from Harry Potter, also known as the Dursleys' house. So this is the first house I've made that isn't Hogwarts. I just decided to start off with the first house that's seen in the books and the films. So yeah, it's a very basic two-story kind of suburban house. These are the houses that are literally everywhere in England, outside every town and city. And it actually always really reminds me of my grandparents' house. They live in a four-bedroom like with one box room suburban house and with a garage on the side, so it just really reminded me of that. So I'm starting off with just the basic structure, with the garage to the side, and then as I was putting the doors on I realised I'd made it way too big, so I started making it a lot smaller, because it's meant to be a 4 bedroom, 3 to 4 bedroom house, but it's not meant to be ginormous, it's not meant to be a mansion, so I just keep making it smaller. As you can see, I do switch a lot of things around, so at the moment the garage is massive and I make it smaller. I just make a lot of different adjustments as I was looking at different pictures, because in the first two films there was a real house, it was a real person's house they were using on a real street, and then from the third film from the third from the third film onwards they changed to building a set house. So the house changes slightly in between the second and third films. Obviously, they tried to recreate the house they already had, but yeah, it changed to a set house, so it's a little bit different. So the brickwork was slightly different and the roof tiles and stuff. So I was just trying to find what was the closest one. I was really trying to copy it off the pictures of the one in the Harry Potter studio tour, because that is the actual set. I've been to see that, had my photo taken in front of it. So I couldn't find anywhere near the bricks that are meant to be at the front. It's meant to be a very pale coloured brick, like a light yellow. The closest I could find is kind of a light grey, because all the yellowy ones looked bright orange once they were on. So I'm not too happy with the brickwork, but that was the closest I could get. And then I'm just reducing the size of the garage. It's really silly. I end up putting a car out the front, so they don't even use the garage. But in the films, there's a car out the front rather than the Dursleys putting their car in the garage. So we don't know what's in there. It could be a second car, it could just be storage. I know a lot of people who have a garage and don't put their cars in there just because they can't be bothered. So I suppose it's kind of realistic. Then I was putting their very neat grass on. I couldn't quite get the fencing around the grass. It's kind of almost like a roped fence in the films. I had to go for a metal one, but it's the closest I could get. Yeah, now I'm just spending a bit of time doing little bits to the front of the house. So I'm getting all the plant works and all the little bits and bobs that are out the front. So they do have sunflowers out the front, but they're very neat. It's described in the books a lot that they're very proud of their extremely neat front garden. And I like the fact, so I'm putting some stuff in front of the window now. There wasn't anything, I wanted a bush, but there weren't any ones small enough, so I ended up like making one with different plants. I think it's in the fifth book where Harry, in the book, it says he's hiding in the flower bed underneath the window trying to listen to the news, and like that would be the flower bed that he's hiding in, which I find really funny. I put some pillars on the side, you can see them just in the corner. They're meant to look like a drain pipe. There aren't any drain pipes in The Sims, which I think there should be. And yeah, I'm just finishing off the outside of the house. What am I doing now? Oh, I realised the driveway, the gravel driveway actually goes all the way up to the door, so I've made the garden too big. So I was just changing that and then making sure it had straight lines. I was fussing around with this bit for ages just because I wanted it. Again, this is something I think the front garden changed ever so slightly in between the second and third films. So I was looking at different pictures and then changing my mind as I looked at all sorts of different ones, basically. Checking what it looks like in different lights. And now I'm making the conservatory on the back. So there isn't really a conservatory feature in the basic Sims pack that I know of. So I'm basically making like a glass house. And then I tried to put a roof on it, and there's no glass roofs obviously, and there's no roofs that fit the shape of the thing I'd made. So I ended up giving up and leaving it as a flat roof. Like, it's now a flat roofed conservatory. So it's just kind of how it's ended up being. I couldn't really do anything, but they've got a little conservatory on the back now. And windows all around. The windows are like obsessively neat lines just because it's that kind of house. Then I'm creating a walled back garden. You don't really see this much in the films. I'm kind of making this bit up based on a couple of floor plans I saw and a tiny bit in the third film, right at the end where Harry kind of makes Aunt Marge fly away. That's what I'm basing it off. But they definitely have, rather than having grass at the back, they have a paved back garden area. So I'm just making it smaller. Yeah, and it's kind of gated. Again, it's very neat. What I wanted for this basically to be is at some point, obviously, I'm going to make the burrow, and it's described in the books, and it's obviously seen in the films. The Dursleys' house is like the antithesis, the absolute opposite of the burrow. So everything here is in neat lines. If there's one of something, there's another one. So you can see I'm doing 2 plants, 2 trees, very neat hedge. I'm creating a little flower bed, but again, it's very, very neat and orderly what's in there. And then when I do the burrow, it's just going to be like an explosion of plants and colours and things everywhere, none of these neat lines. So the houses are completely opposite each other. I think it would be fun if I made them on lots next door to each other, just so you can really, really see the difference. So I'm just making the windows around the house. I ended up moving these once I got to the inside, like I always do, just so they're right on the inside of the house. Then I added the car. And now we're moving on to the interior. So I started off by creating a 4-roomed downstairs house, which is, again, like your basic suburban house, which I think is what it is in the first 2 films. And then I had a much closer look at a lot of the pictures and was remembering certain scenes and realised that actually most of the downstairs is open plan. So I've knocked the dining room and kitchen together, and then in a minute I'm also going to knock the lounge into that area as well. I'm not sure, I think this was done halfway through the films. I'm not sure if it was like that the whole time or if it's just really difficult to see. But you can tell they're still kind of used to be 3 separate rooms even in the films, but that's quite normal for people. Like, these houses would have originally been built with 4 rooms, and then as open plan living got more fashionable, people would have knocked through to their different rooms. So like the kitchen, the tiles, and then the carpet, and they have different walls as well, even though they're in one open plan room. So yeah, I end up knocking it all together. The carpets and the wallpapers are really making me laugh just because they're so revolting. I think the set designer for Harry Potter did really well, like working out what the Dursleys looked like. I think I read she wanted it to look quite kind of bourgeoisie and very up yourself, but it's also that kind of gross, tacky 80s look. It's a really good mixture between the two. Like, they're trying to be all fancy, but it's kind of disgusting and 80s and like too try hard with the striped wallpaper and the heavy drapes and all of this kind of thing. And again, it just really reminds me of my grandparents' house. Like, they don't decorate it this badly, but they haven't decorated since the 80s, and obviously that's when Harry first moves into number 4 Privet Drive. So that's when the decorations are from, basically. And it really reminds me of that, with you want patterned wallpaper, you want patterned carpet, you want patterned sofas. Unfortunately, there aren't any patterned sofas that I wanted when I was looking in the sofa section. The only patterned ones are the kind of twee Downton Abbey, like 1800 style ones. Definitely didn't want those ones. I wanted the more squashy sofas, and they don't have any patterned ones of them. So I just went for plain beige ones. And then lots of little fussy tables and things like that in where they display photos of Dursleys, but also massive TV screens as well, because they love telly. And then I was putting all the lights in. They have lamps, and then they have lights on the walls as well. And I took the ceiling lights off because they do have wall lamps, but it just looked too dark, so I put the ceiling lights back on just because it looked really, really dark. But so that's why, yeah, you can see me putting the ceiling lights back on now because it was just way too dark. But you've got all the wall lamps on there. I was adding a mirror above the fireplace, so I just needed to put that further up, and just adding all the finishing touches I could see on the walls in the films. They have lots of photos on the walls that are probably meant to be, photos of Dudley, or they're all meant to be photos of Dudley, really, but you don't have any like picture objects in The Sims, so I just had to put random paintings. And from far away they look the same. I'm putting little vases on the tables, just fussy decorations that the Dursleys would have liked. Now I'm putting those pictures on the walls. Unfortunately, not massive ones of Dudley's face. And I think I'm about to go in and do the dining room. So I just created a normal dining set, green chairs, which doesn't match the wallpaper at all, which I find really funny. There's another TV in the corner, which is actually in the films. They have 2 TVs in one room, one so they can watch it in the dining room, one so they can watch it in the lounge. And I think in the books there's even one in the kitchen as well. And then I was creating the kitchen. It's got this kind of L-shaped or C-shaped bit, so the counters go all the way round, so it kind of divides the dining room from the kitchen a bit. And it's got some upper counters up above. The only bit this is really seen in is when Harry loses his temper in the 3rd book. I think he's drying up. In the 3rd film, just before he blows up Aunt Marge. Adding the fridge and the oven and the door. I was trying to work out if there were 2 doors, but there's just one, I worked out in the end. And then just adding the appliances to the kitchen. So microwave, coffee maker, sink, and wooden spoons. I didn't want any more clutter on the side because the Dursleys or Aunt Petunia is meant to be very, very neat. So Didn't want loads of stuff out on the side. Now I'm moving over to the hallway. You can see I created a little bathroom area, then I took it away, then I put it back in. So it's never seen in the films, which is why I took it away, but there's a window on the outside of the house, so that window there is frosted over and like in the film, so it definitely is meant to be a bathroom there. So I ended up putting it back. I just got confused. Putting their horrid flowery wallpaper in and some more patterned wallpaper in the bathroom. This house is basically full of patterned wallpaper, which I hate. I hate patterned wallpaper. And you can see I put a door under the stairs, which is meant to be Harry's understair cupboard. Obviously the Sims can't really go in there and do anything, but I thought it was nice to have it on there. And the door's also too big, but you know, I wanted it on there. Little downstairs bathroom, just a toilet and a sink in there, and a little bath mat, so what most people have in there. Downstairs bathrooms, and then a couple more paintings on the wall. The garage, as I said, it's never seen, it's just, we know it's there, so I've just put a concrete floor and then very plain walls, and then I shoved some stuff that most people have in their garage, so an extra fridge freezer I know a lot of people have, a bit of kitchen counter, and then some random boxes and like a woodwork kind of table-y thing, just normal stuff. Then I went on to the upstairs. Again, in the films, we never closely see how the upstairs is laid out. We only ever see Harry's bedroom, and we know it's small and that it's at the front of the house because Ron comes and pulls him through the window into the car. That's all we know, so I was kind of basing it around that. I know it's a 4-bed house because there's Mr. and Mrs. Dursley's bedroom, spare bedroom, Dudley's bedroom, Harry's bedroom. Harry's in the box room, and then all the other rooms are quite a bit bigger. Then I put a family bathroom up there and just went off of that basis. Now I start decorating Harry's room before realising that I'm decorating the wrong room. I was looking at it from the wrong angle. I'm decorating the spare bedroom rather than Harry's room. I end up having to swap everything over. I was thinking, wow, this is the box room and it's got a lot of room actually. No, I was decorating the wrong bedroom. But Harry's room is the only one without tacky wallpaper in because I imagine the Dursleys don't want to spend money on nice wallpaper in there when Harry's in there or when it was just being used as a dumping room before he moved in there. But actually it turns out looking like one of the nicest rooms because it hasn't got horrid tacky wallpaper on, it's just a nice blue. And then I was putting some shelves up. I was planning on putting stuff on the shelves but I didn't. And then I realised I put it all in the wrong room, so I'm moving it over and the furniture becomes a lot more squished up, which is a lot more like the room Harry is in. So it's just got wardrobe, desk, chair, bed, bedside table. Very basic. A little bookshelf because I think that's the only place in the house where there's books, it's described as, that nobody ever reads. Now I'm doing the bathroom. It's quite gaudy in there, which I'm sure the Dursleys would like. I'm just correcting myself with that bedroom. Now I'm doing Dudley's bedroom. This is never seen, so this is totally down to my imagination. So I went for a dark blue carpet, and then still the wallpaper, which is probably his mother's choice, but going for like a grey one. And then just lots of blue and white furniture, a very basic kind of teenage boy's bedroom. We know he has a computer in his bedroom because Harry mentions it sometimes, mirror, that kind of thing. And then I put loads of posters on the walls of like sport things and probably girls and stuff. I don't know what Dudley Dursley has in his bedroom. Then I was doing Mr. and Mrs. Dursley's bedroom, which actually I think Dudley got a lot better deal with bedroom-wise here. So I put a double bed in, more horrid wallpaper, horrid carpet and horrid bedding. They have gone over the top in there. Wardrobe, mirror, just really self-explanatory for kind of the upstairs bedrooms because we don't really know what's in there. And then lastly I'm doing the spare bedroom again, so they've probably chosen what they think is some really nice wallpaper to go in there. Yeah, so most of the upstairs was basically made up, apart from Harry's bedroom, just what I imagine the Dursleys would want to have, decorating the hallway, the landing the same as the hallway, and that is everything. So now I've just got some screenshots to show you of the finished house. Again, you can find this house on the gallery if you want to use it yourselves. All the information will be down below and any other kind of things I've forgotten. I really hope you like this video and hopefully I'll be doing more Harry Potter builds soon, so I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!